work. Yeah. You sure you just don't want to have her here so you don't go like Kim would?
Who have who here?
Have her learning to be there.
I just keeps tracking hot days. I need fix over here.
How was you guys' day so far?
Pretty good.
What did you do?
I went on a little walk with my girls. Went outside for a little bit.
I didn't do much. I stayed where I live at.
You said where?
I stayed where I live at because it's a domestic abuse shelter.
Looks like you already went live.
Yeah, I did.
Do you guys mind putting the link with you guys' story?
Sure.
You gotta probably take a picture for someone.
Yeah. How do you want to go about it? I was gonna just have your girl take it. For the whole area.
Or you might wait for the end.
Yeah, probably the end's probably the best. The cameras and stuff are gonna be in the room. So type C triple.
Where you plugging at?
Right there in the front. Alright, you can get back in the middle.
You guys know how to do it.
Copy the link? Yeah.
Do you know how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I posted it on my Facebook story, trying to hype it up a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, because if you I think on Instagram there's a feature that when you press the sticker, it has something called like link, and then you copy and paste the link. It should make you do it.
Alright, that worked. Husky.
So what did y'all want to start a podcast?
What was your question?
What made y'all want to start a podcast?
I like helping men in conversation. I feel like being like a life coach.
We're business partners, so he likes doing podcasts. I like doing gaming, so I do the podcast with him. He does gaming with me. Once they're done, we'll see if you can go ahead and hop into the intro.
Did y'all want it in?
Sure.
Just let me know when you're done and then
I posted it on my Instagram page too.
Alright.
I got multiple different pages, so I'm gonna post it on all.
You should probably actually get the chair. Get the chair right there. Like if he sits there, if she doesn't call. And then you could just like tilt the monitor closer. Oh, we got a couple viewers in here already. What's up, guys? We just getting set up here. We'll be starting shortly.
Well, by the door.
Yeah, by the door. And then on your way back to coming over here to sit down, you can just like tilt the monitor towards your girl so you can see what she's doing. You can do that. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, I should be able to step over.
There you go. You want me to go grab my pen?
If you want.
I'll share it
Sure.
out.
Sure.
I got you.
I'm a smoker. I gotta smoke in these types because I get anxietied out sometimes and it's just not good.
Let me see the button.
You better step back that way. I'm gonna go get this pen.
It's just you press 1, right?
Yep.
You got Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Can I connect to it? Because I don't have data. It's gonna take a little bit for this stuff to post then. If I have to use my data.
Steven Boykins is there.
Alright.
Did you say Stephen Boykins?
Yeah, it's at the Wi-Fi name.
Oh. It is?
Oh. That really connects to what it said.
Are you gonna be on that side now?
Yeah. Shall be closer.
Well, I gotta edit the camera quick if you're gonna be on that side.
I'll be closer.
Yeah, I'd say towards the middle.
You find it.
A little bit more than that. That's better. Alright, I'm right when you are. Make sure the mic is good. Lock that so it doesn't move.
I should have waited till my girl came back. Are you ready?
Just double checking, making sure everything's working. Mic check, mic check. Yep, that's cool. Speak a little louder because I put the mic over near there. Unless you want to put it right there on the table. Any of y'all soft spoken?
I think I am.
She probably should be.
Yeah, we'll keep it up there. Just
I'll
make
move
sure you.
over and talk louder.
Well, you don't need to move over. Just make sure you're talking like clear. Because I'm ready when you are. 12 minutes in.
Okay, guys, we got Zogoden,
Buffy.
and today we're gonna be discussing all the issues and problems that's happening in 2026 regarding relationships. What's it?
Ivory.
What's your name?
Kim.
You guys can list your social media platforms and relationship status. No,
You can follow me on Instagram at It's Only Ivory.
What about you?
Let me look at the info. Follow me on Instagram at countrykim98. Well, country_kim98.
Okay. Okay, Ivory. What do you think is wrong with relationships nowadays? Like, what do you think the issues are?
I think people are too quick to jump from one relationship to another.
Okay. What about you?
What was the question?
What do you think is the problem with relationships today?
Narcissistic abuse.
Explain.
Well, I just got out of a narcissistic relationship, so I'm going to go into a little bit of what that person put me through without saying their name. She would constantly lock me in the bedroom. And it got bad to the point where I needed to go to the bathroom, and there was no place for me to go to the bathroom. And then, like, when I would confront her about it, she'd be like, "It's not about that," or "You put me through stuff too." Like, she never took responsibility for what she put me through. And also, I've had men put their hands on me and say, "Oh, I'm not gonna do it again," and do it again, and or blame me for them putting their hands on me. Like, that's narcissistic abuse right there.
So you said that sometimes you would say it's like a tit for tat sort of thing. So like what things would you do to her? What things would she claim you did to her that would justify her actions?
She never really like said anything, but she would get irritated with how the room was being trashed, which I'm not the one who trashed it. It was her. I was the one who was cleaning it. And then she would complain about how I snore too loud or about how I move too much and I shaking her. Like just little stupid stuff.
What about you? What do you think is the problem with relationships nowadays?
I think the problem with relationships nowadays is women. So like, I feel like relationships really went downhill once we went through women's suffrage. There was two. There was two people in the workforce now. Women felt like they can speak out of line more. They can do this. They can do that. I feel like with women's suffrage, women took all the bad things that men did with their freedom and basically shot it back at men. So I'd say the biggest problem right now is women. I mean, they're living their best lives, but a lot of the actions that are attached to their best life is detrimental to society.
Okay, so I heard that you were saying earlier. I heard that you were saying earlier that. I heard you were saying earlier. You pressed one to change the camera. I heard that you were saying earlier that that the person was the person that you was with was a narcissist, and the person the men that you was with was like beating on you. So like, do you think that you play a part in like the picking of the person that you're in a relationship with?
I mean, I have a hard time seeing the bad in people. So I always see the good in people right away and just hope for the best.
So how long was you with the person that was locking you in the room? How long was that relationship lasted?
About 3 months.
3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So when did she start putting you?
Wait, y'all moved in together after 3 months?
It was not her place, it was her parents' place.
But still, do you think it was a smart decision per se to move in with someone after you only knew them for 3 months? You don't necessarily know anybody after 3 months, really.
Well, no, she was my friend first.
Okay. That makes sense.
I've known her since last summer.
Okay. That makes sense. I was about to say 3 months moving in?
Yes.
Shit, you was asking for it.
So okay, so like how like when did the things that was happening start? How early in the relationship? First for like 3 months. Like did it happen the third month or like the first month? Like when did she start trapping?
It was going on for about the first 2.5 months.
So what happened?
She had just recently stopped. Well, kind of stopped.
So what good was you seeing in her that made you stay with her, even if she was locking you in a room? I guess.
Well, with her, when every time I came, I was into her when me and her were not living together, and how she'd treat me when I'd get there, how we'd sit there and chit chat, watch movies all day, smoke, and I'd help her. I'd get to spend time with her daughters, and like I just enjoyed the vibe and how I felt, and like I felt like home there. But then when I moved in, that's when she's like, "Oh well, I want my space back. Oh, I want my room back. I'm gonna clean it and this and that." And she's even packed up my stuff and thrown it off the balcony before.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yes.
They do say lesbian relationships are the most domestic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it makes sense why all that stuff is happening. So, what work have you done in your personal life to prepare you for your next relationship? So, like,
well, I'm already in a new relationship.
Okay.
I kind of hop from
How much? Wait, you hop relationship from relationship?
Yes, I do.
And you think that's a healthy way of dating?
No, it's not. But I think this current one I'm in.
Yeah.
Because I've been talking to this person for a couple months now.
Yeah.
And he currently lives in Texas, so it's not like me and him are going to be physically seeing each other at least for a couple more months, which gives us a little bit more time to get to know each other and build more of a connection.
Yeah, okay. Do you think that it's proper to enter into a relationship before you even meet the individual?
Well, if it's not physically possible to meet that person. Yes, I've seen pictures of him. Yes, I video chat him. Yes, me and him text and call. But if he can't physically be here right now, there's nothing I can do. So, of course, there is something called long distance relationships.
Yeah, they're failures, but yeah.
Not all the time.
But hold on, wait. How old are you and how old is the guy? If you don't mind me asking.
Me and him are around the same age. I'm 27.
So like, what you guys go? You guys are like looking into like buying a plane ticket. Like, if you guys never seen each other at all, like, where's the foundation of where this relationship is even gonna get led to if he doesn't have the money to even come see you?
Well, he's right now working on saving up the money.
How much does it cost?
I'm not quite sure, but that's going to be talked about when we get to that point.
And how long have you been talking to him?
I've been talking to him since I got out of jail.
And when was that?
I got out in October, so me and him started talking in November.
But that's six. So in 6 months, he's been saving up the money to like get this plane ticket.
No, me and him haven't made it official until just today.
No. Oh, okay.
So that's our friendship time is 6 months. Today is our first day of our relationship.
Okay. So then, what about you? Have you done any work in your personal life to help better yourself in your next relationship?
Yes, I've been knowing like when to say no and choose myself more in situations that it might not be okay for the other person or it might not be convenient for the other person. And before I just didn't do that and just stayed in like the overwhelmed state and I'm moving myself on from that because it's not healthy for me.
And when is the right time to say no?
The right time to say no is when you're feeling like you're so angry and out of control and you're not trying to take your anger out or do something reckless. Or when you feel like you're not being heard or listened to. Honestly, when you know it's going in one ear and out the other.
Okay. What about you? What work have you been doing to either better your relationship or better your next relationship?
I'd say most of the work I've been doing is just personal stuff, like learning to be more patient, learning to take constructive criticism. I've been learning to be more like listen to my partner's concerns more and stuff like that. I feel like those are all like crucial things I'm working on. That's gonna heighten the probability of my relationship to success rate.
What made you start working on those things about your relationship? Like, why? Like, well, when did you realize that was the best thing for you to do?
I'd say I realized it was the best thing for me to do. Just basically just going through relationship problems. I mean, you go through an argument or two, one, two, three. It's your job as an adult to sit back and really analyze who was wrong, who was right, how did y'all reach this location in the first place, stuff like that. And you always got to take that. I would say you got to be disciplined enough to take the time to step away for a little bit so you can cool down and come back with a clear head, a free head. You know what I'm saying? So that when you do talk about it, is that it's as two reasonable adults rather than two angry opponents. Because you shouldn't be against your partner in your relationship. And when you try to discuss a problem while the problem's super fresh, what you run into is a spat match because one party wants to be right and the other party wants to be right. But if y'all both step away, it gives you the opportunity to think about the actions that you committed, and then it gives her the opportunity to think about the actions she committed. So when you come back, you can apologize for the things that you thought were too harsh, and then you could talk about a way to move forward.
Okay. So my next question is loyalty realistic in today's dating culture? We're gonna start with you.
I think so. I think it's harder to find now But I do think you can find somebody who is truly loyal.
Okay. Do you think it's like more harder to find, or do you think a lot of people have unrealistic standards, or they're just particularly always going after their type, and their type isn't as good as they think it is?
I think I don't know. It's like a mix. Like sometimes it's they only go after their type, and like you said, it's not what they think it is, or they don't act as they think they would act, and it just doesn't work out. And sometimes people date just based upon looks. Just because somebody looks good doesn't mean they have a good personality.
True.
I agree with that.
How do you feel about um, loyalty in today's time? Is it like realistic or no?
Um, well, I can say both yes and I can say both no.
Why no?
Because there are such things as poly relationships.
Isn't it? It's a poly relationship. Wouldn't it not be considered cheating based off what's going on in that relationship on the agreement?
Well, that's only if the person is staying in communication about who they're with. Like, they can't be bouncing from girl to girl in a relationship constantly. They're eventually going to want to settle down with one girlfriend.
Okay. Then why would it be yes?
Because, some people are into poly relationships. Some people just want to be just them and their partner.
Okay. Are you into that those kind of relationships?
Yes, I am into poly relationships.
Okay. Do you think um do you think being with a man that's bouncing around with women like you say is beneficial to you? Like what benefits do you get out of the
Um,
person you're with messing with someone else?
and well, it's also I'm bisexual,
Okay.
so it wouldn't just be him. It would be all three of us messing around.
Okay. So then
Wait, so you're bisexual. Which gender do you like more?
Men,
Which gender have you had more success with?
neither.
okay. But if you're going after two genders, how can you not have success with either or? Would that
Um,
just mean you're just a failure?
But they're failures.
Like you said?
well, sometimes it takes a little bit to find the right person.
What does that take?
It takes time to really get to know somebody, sit and have conversations with them, ask them about their past, ask them about their nationality, ask them about things they like to do or what bad they have been through so you can get to know and know their triggers, know their emotions, understand them more when they have their bad moments, and understand them better when they do have their good moments, and want to cherish them good moments with them.
So with you like knowing all this based on your track record, does that mean you're just not following all these things you're saying?
Um, not necessarily. I do follow most of it
Why not follow all?
because sometimes it takes two.
I mean,
And half the men I've met, all they want is one thing, which is sex, and that is not okay.
okay. With all the men you meet and only wanting sex, do you think it's possible that maybe you just don't provide anything else other than sex? Or they just don't value you enough to see anything more than just your body?
They don't value me at all, and I'm realizing that.
Okay. So with them not valuing you at all, why are you being around associating yourself with and someone that don't value you? Like what, do you not like love yourself or you don't see value in yourself either?
That's kind of hard. I'm learning to love myself as I'm getting older and trying to go with my medications that I'm on and with the therapy that I go through, I am still recovering from my trauma that I have been through, not just in relationships, but also in my family relationships that I have with my family, my brothers, my sisters, my moms, and my dads. I'm
So,
still recovering from that.
okay. So after hearing about some of the things that she just was saying about herself, like what advice would you have for someone that's dealing with the problems she's having?
Um, I'd say if I met a woman like her and she was like, "Help me, I don't know what I'm doing wrong," I would tell them, "Well, take a step back, stop dating for a while. Definitely stop hopping relationship from relationship. You need to give yourself time to heal." Like what I learned dating is, I was in a 4 year relationship before with a woman, and it ended really badly. So I gave myself like about 3 years to heal before I met my next woman. They say it takes at least 50% of a relationship, if not 75% of a relationship, of time to heal from your prior relationship before you're actually ready to date another individual. So if I was giving her advice, I'll tell her step back, give herself time to heal. Definitely stop dating online because you don't know necessarily who these people are until you meet them, especially if they're in a separate state. If you date someone in a separate state online, you can meet them in Texas and they'll be a completely entirely different person, and you'll be in a completely entirely different state where you can't necessarily get your bearings because you're not used to living in Texas, and that's a whole different atmosphere. I would say try to meet someone in person. Yeah, try to meet someone in person, becomes friends with them first. You know what I'm saying? Let them know you're on a healing journey and you're not interested in dating until at least I think she said her last relationship, it was friends for a year, and they got in a relationship for 3 months. So I'd say don't date this person at least until you know them for 7 months. Be their friend, get to know them. Go out and do fun things. I mean, there's lots of men out there that can wait. It's just you got to go after the right genre of man. And I think a lot of women delude themselves on what a man that cheats and what a man that doesn't cheat looks like. The man that doesn't cheat, he's not going to look as cool because he's not as, shall I say,
Polarizing.
exactly. Yeah, he's not as polarizing. He's not as confrontational. He's not doing something that can necessarily cause arguments in the relationship to begin with. So we're very different. You even in the way that we brag about ourselves, talk about our ambitions, our goals, how we interact with women. That's all different. So I'll tell her, yeah, just really get to know this person over 7 months. Once it hits month 7, don't just jump in a relationship with them. Really have a conversation with yourself. I think meditating is very important. If you meditate, you can have a conversation with yourself and see if you're actually ready for a relationship. And then once you have that conversation with yourself, then jump into a relationship. Now you know this person in person. You hung out with them for 7 months. Now you're dating them. Then wait at least 1 to 2 years before you move in.
Okay. What advice would you have for a person like that? For her, exactly.
Definitely take a step back from dating. Um, for a while, I think you have to heal yourself before you get into a relationship. And I know that's harder said than done, but you got to do it for yourself because you never want to be put in a situation where you're in harm's way.
Okay.
You want to be able to trust who's around you, and truly, that might not be even the first person that comes after 7 months. They could be a whole asshole. So you really got to give yourself the time before.
Yeah. I'll say when it comes to things like that, especially when it's like traumatic or family or anything like that, like she was saying, you do gotta like pick yourself a lot. A lot of people need to go out and really find themselves so they can have that love inside of them, so that they won't settle for less or be picking people or like try to find some way to validate themselves for a particular person. So like we're gonna move to him. And what impact do you think social media has on dating?
Oh shit, I thought it was going to be a loyalty question. I didn't even think of this one. All right, let's say it again.
What impact do you think social media has on dating?
I think it has a very negative impact. It dilutes women into thinking they have more options than they actually do. I think women, I want to say they lost connection with their grandmas because grandmas really knew like how the game was. Like yeah, you have all these options, but at the end of the day, is all these options going to provide you what you're looking for? Metaphor I like to refer to is basically it's this thing called the husband store. So it's basically like when a woman shopping for a husband, and every floor someone got something better, but once they reach the last floor, there's nobody there. They're alone. So I like analogies like that just because a lot of women they think they have all these options, but they just continue to get used for sex, used for sex, used for sex because they don't understand that around 80% of men are just looking for sex. A lot of us don't mature until we're around 30, and that's really around the time where we really want to settle down. In our 20s, unless we had some fairy tale ideology growing up, saw a really strong bond between a male and a woman, we tend to want sex more. So even if we get in a relationship with you, we're still going to crave variety because we're young and we haven't experienced much. Now, a person that had two strong figures in the household, they're going to look at themselves and they're going to be like, okay, I'm a man. I understand I want variety. I'm going to get my variety first, get that out the way, fuck every woman under the sun so I know what type of body type I'm most attracted to. I know what type of woman I'm going to be most attracted to. Then after they stop fooling around with the girls that somehow develop the ideology that they want to have sex with a bunch of men, which tend to be fatherless women, then they'll finally be like, okay, this is the person I want to be with. I don't want to have sex with anybody else. But I think social media give women the ideology that they have all these options, so they keep jumping from man to man, and they don't understand. Every time they jump man to man, they're deluding themselves. They know that this man provides this man provides that, this man provides this, but we're all different. So this man, nobody's going to provide the full package. You just need to find someone with enough in their box to satisfy you. And I would say for men, the way social media negatively affected them is by, it's going to sound bad because it's going to sound like I'm also blaming women still, but in honesty, it's just the fact that they have too much access to lustful activities. So now you got all these young boys, young men growing up, and sex is in their face like that. So it takes their already biological urge to mate with many women and multiplies it by 10 because now they're like, oh my God, this woman can do this. This woman with a fat ass can twerk on my dick like this. But if I get a skinny woman, her pussy might be fat and it's going to feel like this when they're coming up and down on me. When you have all that sex in front of your face, you continuously want more because you're like, oh my God, I can have this piece of candy. I can have that piece of candy. Oh my God, I've been with this piece of candy for 7 years, but they just came out with a new type of candy because the styles changed, social media changed, how people operate changed, all that stuff's changed, and then now you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to be satisfied because there's always something new coming out. I mean, if you look back 20 years, attractiveness was a super scrawny petite woman, and now if you look at the 21st century, attractiveness is a slim thick woman that's a fat ass and big tits. And if you get a fat ass and big tits naturally, you gotta start off fat and you gotta work your way down so that all the weight comes out your stomach, not your ass and your tits. That's the natural way to do it in the gym. So I would say, yeah, that's how it negatively affected women and men. For women, it made them feel like they have more options than they actually do. And men love to lie to get what they want. So a rich man would tell you, yeah, I'm going to marry you, baby girl. But in reality, you just want that pussy. And for a girl and for a man, it over sexualizes the world towards them to the point where they're never satisfied.
Okay. How do you feel about what impact do you believe social media has on dating?
Can I just ask, would you say like it would go the other way for men?
Well, in what way?
Like being very lustful, thinking that they have many options.
I would say for men, the only reason why I say it's not them thinking that they have many options is because women are born with value, men aren't. So at the end of the day, the moment women start growing tits and ass, men want them. It don't matter if they're 18 or 45. I mean, if you're a hot 13-year-old, 14-year-old, there's probably grown ass men looking at you like, damn, and just assuming you're an adult because they won't know you're an adult until they have a conversation with you. But men get beat down by the world to the extent where they know they don't have options. Like if you're an ugly dude, you're short, you're pudgy, or even if you're born with autism, you know that most women aren't going to date you because you're going to be getting rejected early on in your life. Through high school, college, all the girls that you want are going to say no because you're just ugly. So I would say that's the only reason why men don't have the same options, because men only have options when they have resources. If you're a rich man, you got plenty of options, no matter how ugly you are. But if you're a poor, ugly man, you got no options. You got no options. You got to settle.
Yeah, I would agree with what he's saying. Not even just men don't have options. It's more. It's very rare that women like hear the reality or like a truth. Men has to face the truth like literally every day. Like if they're talking to like a guy, no, if a guy is talking to like a woman and she only dates 6 foot guys, and he's only 5'7", there's literally nothing he can like. He has to face. I just don't match up because I was not born to be 6 feet.
Yeah, like, let me give you an example. When I was in high school, no women liked me, but I was 5'5". When I finished high school and I had a growth spurt to 6'5", woo! It's like the gates opened up. All these women are all of a sudden like, oh my God, who are you? I didn't even know you went to this school. Bitch, I've been going here for 4 fucking years. What are you talking about? You just said no to me last year. What do you mean? You didn't know I was going here.
I actually did see that happen with one of my classmates.
Exactly. So it's like, as men, you got to hit that harsh reality, because not to josh on women, but a lot of y'all are followers. So whoever made tall guys being popular, that's why a majority of women want tall guys.
Not even just that.
I mean, look at twerking. Twerking was not popular until a few artists started doing it. Not everybody's twerking. You know what I'm saying? But, and all of a sudden, it's not a sexual action anymore. Back in the day, if a girl twerked on you, that means she wanted to fuck. Now, if she twerk on you, I'm just dancing.
Mm-hmm. Then you also have to think about the standard. I can't think of the song. It was like 6 inches, 6 foot, and then 6 figures. So like there's like these standards that a lot of men that's probably never gonna reach any of these things. Mm-hmm. It's never gonna be able to reach. And like, even if you don't want to like go that far, just think of like the statements a lot of women say that there's no good men. They basically just said the nerds, the geeks, the losers, the ugly guys, they don't even exist.
Me in high school.
They don't even like, they're like, women mainly see men as the type of guys they want. Those are the only men that matter. The guys that's not their type, they're not even existing in that person's mind. Which is why a lot of women that only date a particular type of man only think these men exist. Their mind is so, I wouldn't even just say it's fucked up. It's more like he was saying, delusion, as far as they think this man only exists. Like, women think, okay, if he's able to have sex with me, I know he's getting other girls because I want him, not knowing that maybe other girls only want him because you're with him. And like he was saying, a lot of women are followers.
That's another big thing. If you with a hot chick, I'm telling you, every girl in the club's gonna want you. Even if she's your friend and they don't know that, just the fact that you walked in with a hot chick, they're like, oh my God, he's surrounded by hot chicks. There has to be a reason. And they want to find that reason out. And if you're a smart ass dude that gets a lot of pussy, you'll have the game to make her think that, okay, yeah, I'm always surrounded by hot women, baby girl. Maybe you'll try to be extra funny, or maybe you're extra taller. Maybe you got some sort of feature women are attracted to. They'll just assume that's why you got a bunch of hot women around you. But in reality, you knew this chick since high school. She had a glow up. You didn't. But she's okay with going out with you because she knows that that's how she's okay. I've seen that happen plenty of times. Going to a club with a hot girl, I'm telling you, going to a club with a hot girl, you're going to get twerked on a couple times, you're going to have the best time of your life, bro. Have the best time of your life. I've done it before. It's amazing.
So how do you feel, like, what impact do you think social media has on relationships?
I don't really think it has a positive impact on it.
Why is that?
Because most people who look at social media, there's a lot of relationship videos on there.
So what do you think social media, it makes both men and women think that a particular reality is possible for them? I remember, I think when a Birkin bag was really popular, or the Benz was popular. I forgot what artist he bought this girl a particular item, and then there was a lot of broke females, or even just people in poverty.
Well, nowadays on social media, you got all these poly relationships going on there, and all the lesbians and the bisexuals, and there's everybody, the transgenders, like people wouldn't have wanted to be that way if they didn't see it at one point.
Okay. So if social media is having that kind of influence over people, do you believe that you allowed yourself to be influenced by social media since you said you're polyamorous? Did you have to see on social media that like, okay, I'm a girl, I like women, I also like men, so I'm not gonna date both of them. I'm gonna let this man pick and choose when I'm gonna mess with a girl.
Well, me, I found out I was bisexual when I was 17.
How did you find that out?
Um, when I started kissing a close friend of mine, and I also had my baby dad with me. They're like encouraging us to kiss and leave hickeys on each other.
No, you had a baby dad at 17.
No.
Then you just say baby dad. Like, what did you?
Yes, my baby dad. I call him my baby dad because me and him have a kid together who is now 7 years old. So
you was pregnant at 17?
no, I was pregnant when I was 19.
So how was he your baby? Wait, okay. You was 17 and you was kissing that girl, but your baby dad wanted you guys to kiss. How can you have a baby dad if you not get pregnant till you're 19?
I think she was just referring to him.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm pretty sure it's a phrase of adornment or something like that.
Yeah, that's what
Endearment.
I call him because me and him now have a kid together.
Oh, okay, okay.
Baby dad past tense.
I was
Or post tense.
Okay, I was confused. Okay, so
Wait, you didn't ask her about the social media.
I think nowadays AI is definitely taking
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah, AI sucks.
I'm seeing a lot of scammers hitting people up on AI and think it's like your family members and stuff and trying to traffic people. And I feel like the same thing is going on in relationships. If you think you're talking to a whole person, video chatting, planning to meet up, you go to meet up and nobody's there.
that makes sense. Okay, so that if that's the case as far as like with the whole AI thing, then if people know that these things can happen, what's the best way for them to stay careful or to be known they're actually talking to a real person?
Honestly, I don't know.
There is no way. If you can't tell the difference between AI and a real life individual, then you're just hooked.
So what? If that's the case, how many people in here have been like catfish? Have you ever been catfish before?
Yes.
How's that? Like he looked like not that like all like the person he was pretending to be, or
I'm not quite sure because it's something I don't really remember because it happened so long ago. I kind of just forgot about it.
have you ever been catfish?
No.
Have you ever been catfish?
Yeah, I've been catfished once. It wasn't through AI. She just posted pictures of herself before she got fat, and then we linked up and she was fat, and I basically couldn't pursue anything with her because I don't like fat chicks.
Okay.
Ooh, actually, I just remembered it.
What was it?
So I got catfished by an older man.
Okay. Like was he portraying himself to be a younger man?
No, he was portraying himself to be a single divorced man to send me a fraudulent check to see if I could cash it in my bank for him to be able to get that bank information.
So he was trying to scam you?
Yes.
Oh, so you're saying he catfished you in ways like pretending to be this nice guy trying to get money out of you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we'll shift to this. So, how important is money in a relationship? Do you think money is more important, or a man having emotional intelligence?
Man having emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Money isn't everything. Yes, money. You need money to survive, but that's because the world made it that way.
I would argue that you can't have emotional intelligence without at least some sort of abundance of money, because you're too stressed out. You have no time to grow emotionally.
You're always thinking about where the next paycheck's going to come from. If you're an emotionally intelligent man with no money, then you live with somebody. That's the only way it's going to work, because if you're living by yourself and you're emotionally intelligent, you have to have money. You have to pay bills. You have to pay rent. You have to pay for dates. How the hell are you going to focus on improving yourself emotionally when you can't even afford to pay for a date?
Well, I can fight that.
Okay,
Not
let's debate.
not all dates revolve money. You can do things other things that doesn't revolve money, like going on a walk together, going on hikes,
Those are just methods for men to have
But
sex faster.
going on bike rides.
That's just methods
The
for
issue
men to
Not
have
all the
sex faster.
time.
But if you don't have money, how can you afford the bike? And if you guys don't live close to each other, you have to walk to wherever you're at. So would you? So if money isn't that important, how many homeless guys have you dated?
A few.
Okay.
Was
did
any
you
of
sleep
those
outside?
relationships successful? No.
No.
So that proves it right there. Just having emotional intelligence and no money, you're not gonna have a successful relationship. You gotta go for someone that can have emotional intelligence and can also provide for you. Because at the end of the day, if they don't have both, the relationship's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work, because if you're not providing for him financially, he can't be emotionally intelligent. Because now he's stressed out, you're stressed out, y'all's gonna have argument. Now, if he's bringing money into the situation, now all the bills are paid. Now y'all can really talk about things. You have time to. Y'all ain't talking about who's going to pay the next water bill. You're talking about, oh my God, I'm sorry, we're fighting over macaroni. Like me and my girl, I handle a lot of my stuff financially on my own. When we get in an argument, it's never about deep shit. It's always about something simple and stupid, because we have nothing deep to worry about. Yeah. But if you're homeless, you have a lot of fucking serious problems to worry about. You got housing to worry about. You got food to worry about. You got whether you can provide for a family in the future to worry about. You got your own future to worry about. You got her future to worry about, because now y'all are a unit. And if your future's successful, her future has to be successful too. You got all of these pressures from the world that are preventing you from being a strong individual.
What would you say to somebody who has been through this since they were 17 and ran away from home, and just that's all they know is house bouncing and being homeless and everything?
I would say to someone that's house bouncing and being homeless, are they a man or a woman?
That would be me.
They're a woman. I would say just maintain your hotness at all costs possible. You'll find someone that you can just hitch up with because you're hot. And then once you're feeding off him while he's hot, go make your own money and provide for yourself. And then once you're in a better situation, leave him and find someone that's actually a better individual. That's what I would recommend to my daughter.
So, okay.
Use men. Women, use men. We want to be used. Use them.
Okay. So the person, if the person is homeless, then wouldn't they start to like form things like smelling? Their hygiene wouldn't be up to date.
It has to be.
The best
it has to be instant. It has to be instant.
But the moment you become homeless,
if she got homeless at 17, she should have hooked up with some older white dude.
Okay.
Rich white dude. That's what I would have did as a woman. I would have put myself in a situation where I'm with someone that's wealthy so I can use them until I'm in a better situation. Then I can leave them. If you have no support system, go steal someone else's support system. That's the only option you have. Or you can work off the street your whole life, wait 10 years until you're finally at a stable scenario, and then after that, then you can move up from stable. Or if you're a woman, you can use your God-given gifts and skip the whole process. Why wait 10 years trying to... Because most people ain't going to hire you because you're homeless. So why wait?
Yeah, you do need like a melanin drug.
Most people are going to judge you as soon as they find out you're homeless. So if that method's going to take you 5 to 10 years, some people don't ever get off the street. So that process is going to take you 5 to 10 years. You're 17. You're at your hottest. Go hitch up with somebody. Yeah, he's a little older. Yeah, the laws say it's not legal, but you have no support system. You need a support system. If you're a kid and you have no support system, you're hopeless. You're hopeless because you can't even work at no sustainable job until you're basically the age of 18 anyway.
And so that's where the little pedophiles come from.
Use them. Use them. 100 years ago, 13-year-olds fucked 40-year-olds all the time. Use those pedophiles. There's people out there right now using AI to scam pedophiles and becoming millionaires. Why wouldn't you do that as a woman? You don't even need to give him sex. We have the internet. Have a phone. Before you get kicked out, text a few old people. Have them send you $1,000, $5,000, $6,000 for a picture or two. Once you get kicked out, use that money to get into a property. Maybe. Or get into somebody's house and pay them rent. Well, you ain't going to be able to get a property because you're 17. So you're going to have to go into someone's house and be like, listen, I'll pay you $300 a month. I'll pay you $400 a month.
Still got to get the money.
Let me live in this. Any man on the internet. Make yourself available.
I mean, as much as you trying to make it seem like it is this easy, it's
not. It's not easy.
Okay,
it's not easy. Most women aren't hot.
So,
you gotta be hot for this to work. Now,
I'm talking about me.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what you look like when you're 17.
Let me think. Okay. I will say this: if you are 17, if you don't want to go the route as far as selling your body, that's probably one of the easiest ways.
You can do it through the internet. Like, I don't understand. Like, you don't even need to touch this person physically.
Sometimes you gotta do the groundwork or whatever. Or what you could do is like
do the groundwork.
You could try to figure out.
I've done some pretty bad things for money, which I don't really want to get into.
No, you don't have to.
You don't have to get into it, but like, if you did bad things for money, I'll say you wasn't charging enough.
I wouldn't even say that.
Or you use the money on stupid things, and that's why you ain't.
I would say you just didn't want it enough, because I believe the moment I become homeless, every kid, high schooler or whatever, they will be all targets for me to rob. Yeah, but if you don't want to do like the jail route, you need to figure out what happened that was going on in your house that you had to say, you know what, I'm running away, I'm fucking my chances up, and I'm gonna be homeless. Because the moment you turn 18, you can start applying for agencies and stuff, and you can like try to explain that you don't have really that much work experience, and then see if you have a friend or somebody you know.
Well, at the time, when I was 18, because excuse me, I had gotten into a relationship with somebody who was 21 when I was 17, and like he was my friend's brother, which I didn't realize he had just got out of jail, that he was a drug addict and also a drug dealer.
How long did all this take? How long did it like weeks for you to like figure stuff out? From somebody's a drug dealer or drug addict, you'll know that like that. You'll see him doing drugs.
Well, he was prescribed Suboxone, so he misused his Suboxone.
What is that?
It's an opioid blocker. And when the withdrawal from it is like withdrawing off of heroin.
But I would say, if you didn't want to demean yourself and you needed some advice and you was homeless and you didn't want to sell your body, I mean, that's what I'd do. I guess I wouldn't be a good woman. But if you didn't want to do all those things negative about yourself, what's up, bro? If you didn't want to do all those things negative about yourself, I would say you gotta really just work yourself to the bone. You gotta do any job that anybody offers you that isn't demeaning in your opinion. And you gotta work. I would say if I was homeless on the street, I'd beg for money. I'd use the money I get from begging to pay for food. And then I'll use the money I get from work and put it into a savings account. And then once you can get into somewhere like a motel or a house, then you can start really building from that space. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you take the hard route, there's a reason why the hard route takes long. There's a reason why the rat race is a hard route. And working for a employer is the hard route. It's going to take you some years. That's just the unfortunate reality of the situation. It's either you can take the long road or the short road. For women, when they're homeless, the short road is hitching up with someone that has money, and the long road is trying to make that money yourself. And as a homeless 17-year-old, the world is not going to be kind to you. It's not going to be kind to you. A lot of people are going to use and abuse you because you're vulnerable.
Yeah, and the issue with being, I mean, I don't really know that many people that's 17 and homeless, but like you were saying, as far as how hard you will have to work, you're going to have to either try to find somewhere where you can either get a phone that works or an address and see if you can get like a particular job and they can hire you. And then save up whatever that money is and try to see if you could get moved into a room and try to explain your situation. But most times what ends up happening is a lot of people they sweet talk these kind of people, and then what happens end up getting these fucked up situations, when men that abuse them or X, Y, and Z or whatever. So then you just stay there based on you believe you have no other way out, and then you probably just don't. You probably just didn't put in the work enough to the point that you're removing yourself from this particular situation. Because I know me personally, as skinny as I am, I like to eat way too much to be missing meals and being like homeless. Because you gotta think like there's 4 seasons. You got summer's gonna be hot as fuck outside, and you got fall, it's hot and there's no breeze. Then winter, it's even worse. And then spring, and then this back of this cycle. So like I'll say like you gotta figure out if there's something going on in your previous home that you have to run away from. Maybe it's not smart to go back there. That's why you should like try to like either have friends or maybe another family member, because being homeless isn't ideal. I don't think most people like really want to be homeless.
Of course not.
So then, what about you? Do you think it's more important for a man to have money or emotional intelligence?
I think like you said, it's a balance. Because sadly, in the world we live in, either you're taking care of the bills together, or someone's doing all the work. So either you have the emotional intelligence or he does. It doesn't go both ways, and that's about it.
Okay. Do you think it's more important for a man to have money or be emotionally intelligent?
I would say it's more important for a man to have money, because I believe women are born with emotional intelligence. So a good woman would be able to bring that emotional side out of him, out of that rich, closed off man. At least the right woman would be able to. And if he already has the money, then that means you're going into a situation where you don't need to worry about nothing but helping him get in touch with his emotional side a little bit more. And if he's a real good man, he won't want to lose you, so he will concede and say, you know what, I want to get in touch with this side of myself so I have a happier relationship with the love of my life. But yeah, I'd say money definitely, because I mean, emotional intelligence is great. I feel like I have a lot of emotional intelligence. But it's really something hard to build when you're struggling. It's really something hard. Like when I was struggling, I was in a gang. I was doing all sorts of types of dumb shit. I jumped some random kid, like because I have no time to deal with my emotions because I'm dealing with all the hardships of the world, and that's a really hard. That's a really heavy weight to carry. So, and then once I started getting money, once I got into a better situation, once I got that job at 15, and then worked up and then got that job at 17, and then stayed at that job until I was that age, and then moved on until my income increased to a certain level where I'm satisfied, which I'm not satisfied yet, but I'm at a place where I'm at least comfortable. That's when I was really able to sit back and like read books about emotion and human anatomy and how to communicate between the female gender and the male gender, and the importance of recognizing the capacity of violence between man-to-men conflicts and women-to-men conflicts. Once I had enough money to actually sit back and be interested in these topics, I feel like I became a better man from it. I mean, sometimes I get called misogynistic, sometimes I get called insecure, but all I know is the way I go about dating, I always ended up in healthier relationships than not, because I stick to a certain level of standards. But then that brings it back all the way to the attractive statement that we was talking about earlier. I wasn't even able to reach these standards for myself until I reached a certain level of attractiveness. That's why I believe that every person in the world should work diligently to be the most attractive that they can be personally, because when you're your most attractive, you really understand the options you have at your disposal and which options you can take advantage of. So like before I was attractive, you know what I'm saying, I didn't have the options to say these are my standards. I just wanted anything and nothing was offered to me. And once I had my growth spurt, slimmed down some, got down from 300 pounds, got in great shape, I basically had the cream of the crop for picking at my league. You know what I'm saying? Because there's leagues to dating. There's low tier, mid tier and high tier. Sometimes high tier comes down to low tier. Sometimes low tier goes up to high tier by being a high tier individual. But once I had all those options available to me, I really had the ability to date around and see what works best for me. But that's just because men are really born with a lot of emotional intelligence, so they don't understand what works best for them unless they experience it. While women, they dream about that perfect relationship so often to the point where they know what they want when they're at a certain age. But for men, unfortunately, we got to date around a bit to really see what clicks with us.
Okay.
So I'd say money for sure. Money for sure.
So it seems like you two really didn't really believe that, or you guys were half and half with believing that there aren't really good men and there are some good men. With that being said, like, why do you think there's a saying "good men finish last"? Anyone who can answer that question. Like, if there aren't really good men, then why is there a saying that good men finish last?
I would say like we go through, well, us as females go through so many options and so many experiences and meeting many different men that before we actually get to the good guy, we didn't lose them. It's basically the end.
So with all these options that a lot of women like run through or deal with, do you think having too much of something can like blind you from seeing something that can be right in your face that could be good for you?
Of course. I feel as though if you don't understand both sides of a situation, like being in somebody else's shoes, you won't really get it.
Okay. So have there been any good guys that you passed up on, or any guys that you know for a fact that this guy will treat you better than most guys that either your type or a bad guy that you passed up on?
Honestly, I can't say for sure because I feel as though in every relationship it always starts out good. So the flaws like wait to come out, if that makes sense. Or
Okay. So like what? Like that honeymoon stage, and then after the honeymoon stage dies down, you think you get shown the real person?
yeah, I feel like after y'all spend so much time with each other, you'll start to understand who they really are, how they really act, how they really move.
Okay. What about you? Since you've dealt with like a lot of narcissistic men or men that abuse you, or even same with women, so I guess you can answer it for either gender. Um, do you think that you can find a good woman or a good man? Like with that whole saying, "Good men finish last."
Um, well, at the end of the day, for the saying "good men finish last." It's always the good man that ends up with the woman at the end.
Do you think when he ends up finding this woman, do you think she's all washed up, or she probably has 5 or 6 kids? She's been ran through. Do you think women wait till they had all their fun to go start looking for like good men or a man that's willing to be a stepfather and deal with her past?
Um, no,
Why?
because you know, a woman is always looking for a good man from day one.
Why do you think women struggle with that? If you're looking for something that's good, there's no way you can run into
Because
something
that
that's bad.
is put into a woman's head from childhood that they're going to find a Prince Charming.
Okay, and how many Prince Charming do you think you ran into?
Well, I thought I had found a Prince Charming, but he wasn't really a prince.
So how did he get you?
Because he helped me run away from home when I was 17.
Okay.
Took me in. Then I learned more about him. And, like, I didn't care at that point because at that point he saved me from the situation I was in.
What was going on that you had to run away from home?
Well, my dad was abusive, my adopted dad.
Okay.
I was put up against the wall a couple times, like a week. A couple times a week, I was put up against the wall by my girl.
How many police reports did you like have on you?
None,
Okay, so
because I was young.
you was young.
Yeah, I was adopted when I was 7, and this didn't happen until I was like older ish. Like he punched me in the face when I was 15.
So for like you being younger, like did you start like learning how to like work a phone at like 19 or 20? Like when did you start learning how to work a phone?
I learned how to work. Like I got a hold of my biological mom when I was in 6th grade, and I told her about everything. But because of me having a closed adoption, my biological mom couldn't do nothing about it.
No, I'm saying like you said that you was young or whatever, but
Probably that whole adage of when you're young, like you look at an adult as your like highest level of authority. So if they tell you
Yes.
don't pick up the phone and report me, then you won't pick up the phone. Check the battery on the back. Like push it, see if it's all the way pushed in.
press it.
There you go. Press it again. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulty, guys. But like I was saying, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, it's probably that whole adage of like when you have an adult in your life, they're looked at as like the prime authority or figure in your like life. So you begin to like think like, okay, if they say don't touch the phone, you won't touch the phone, or if they say don't report this incident to your teachers, you won't report that incident. I mean, I didn't even grow up in an abusive household, and when my mom would say don't report this to your teacher because the CPS would take you away, I wouldn't report it to the teachers, even though it wasn't something necessarily abusive. At least in my eyes, I don't think that ass whooping is abusive, but we was growing up in a time where ass whooping started to become abusive, and parents could get in real trouble just for beating you with a belt. But yeah, so it's really just I think it's just that whole adage that she's trying to explain that like even though she knew how to use a phone, she never thought to use the phone to report her stepfather because at the end of the day, that's the highest authority in her life. That's all she knows. Not to speak for you, I'm sorry. I don't want to assume it, but if I'm wrong, cut me off. That's the highest authority she knows. So at the end of the day, she thinks what she's experiencing in her personal life is what the real world is like. I mean, at the end of the day, she doesn't know anything but that. So I mean, if she's getting abused, she could be assuming, well, everybody probably gets abused to this extent. This is probably normal. You know what I'm saying? It's not really until you hit a certain level of maturity to the point where you're like, okay, what he's doing to me is wrong, which I would assume that's when you decided.
And also, my parents did their very best to keep any phones away from me at all costs. They would make sure I monitored on the phone all the time, no matter who I was talking to.
So yeah.
Now, I'd even go to school and tell my counselor, but then my parents would say that she's making up a story and lying about it just for attention.
That's another thing that could happen.
So how do you feel about that whole statement of good men finish last or good guys always finish last?
I mean, it's true. I mean, women are born with emotional intelligence, but they're not born with logical intelligence. So at the end of the day, they don't realize that that good guy that you're rejecting is going to be the guy that finishes on top. So like there's the saying good guys finish last, but there's also the saying that nice guys or good guys finish on top. Because we put in the actual effort to become something in this world. And since we put in the actual effort to become something in this world, we get the girl in the end. I would say if you're a good guy, don't pick the used up girl. I mean, I know she's pretty, she knows a lot, she's been around town, but sometimes that's not the best decision for you. I mean, maybe you liked her since high school, but I've seen a lot of marriages end that way because they fantasize this person in their head for so much time to the point where when they actually get them, they find out they're a horrible person. But yeah, the guys definitely finish last, but we also finish on top. So it's like it's that yin and yang. And if you're a good guy out in the world, you can always like play the bad guy just so you get some attention from women. I mean, I did it for a couple of years. So you can always do that if you really want to get women. But yeah, if you're a good guy out there, stay a good guy. Stay a good guy. Because at the end of the day, that woman, she's going to come to you healed. She's going to learn what she needed to learn from the real world. And y'all are both going to have a really happy relationship because you got the money. She got the emotional intelligence and the understanding on how to handle certain situations. I don't see why that could be a perfect relationship. I mean, it doesn't work for every good guy. Like me personally, I wouldn't take that woman, but a lot of good men out there. I mean, at the end of the day, that experience could benefit you. That experience can benefit you. Just don't put yourself in a hole. Don't pick the girl with 8 kids. Don't put yourself in a hole. But if there's a woman out there, she has a couple bodies, but she doesn't have kids, she's still mature, or she only has like 1 or 2. Yeah, why not take her? She can still have more kids. She can teach you a thing or two about life because you've been so focused on your career. Why not? Finish last, bro. Finish on top.
Okay, so with both of you guys having kids, what is your dating life like? Like, what does it consist of? Let's start with you.
Wake up. Oh.
No, like,
what
well,
do you mean?
I'm asking, like, what is your dating life like? Cause, like, I'm not sure if, like, a lot of single moms know this, but like, most guys really just like to use single moms for like little benefits of like maybe no, she's vulnerable, she doesn't have nobody. All you gotta do is put minimum effort in to make her believe he's gonna be a stepdad one day. So like, what is dating like you like if you have a son or a daughter?
Okay, I got 2 daughters. I'm not really looking for a relationship at the moment, and I definitely don't want to bring just anyone around my kids because I think there's a lot of trauma surrounded by bringing multiple relationships around your children because then they build an emotional connection to them and then they're gone and they don't understand that.
Okay.
So
okay, so you just don't want to bring any guy around. Like, what does a man have to show you to make you be like, okay, it's fine if he's around my daughters? Like, what is the behavior? How long do you have to know this man before he has access, or even being able to see that your kids or your kids knowing that he exists?
Honestly, in this world, 5 years. I truly don't trust anybody around my children, and I would hate to make a mistake and something happen. It's one of my biggest fears. So
that's the mom.
Like your mom. So what is your relationship with your baby dad like?
We're mutual. We both work together to make sure that they're taken care of, and basically go about our business.
Okay. What about you? Because I believe you said you're like a 7-year-old, right?
Yes, I have a 7-year-old and almost 3-year-old.
7-year-old.
But I don't have custody of them.
Oh, still have custody of them.
My biological mom's best friend and my second baby dad's parents.
Okay, so since you don't have custody, or do you have like any kind of rights over these kids, or no?
I still have my parental rights to my 7-year-old, but I did sign off my rights to my almost 3-year-old about almost a year ago.
And why was that?
Because I think the system is fucked.
The system is fucked.
Yes, the system is fucked. The system has been fucking me over since I was pretty much born.
Okay, so if you already went in, I'm guessing, went into that mindset of the system being fucked, why would you have another kid already having one? Like, would you think? Did you think having a kid was the right thing to do, or did you have this kid on a fine happiness?
No, I actually my 7-year-old
if it's the R word, say great.
Yeah. And then my for my 3-year-old, he I don't really think that's appropriate to say.
Okay, I'm guessing. Okay, so that's a really touchy topic. So okay, so if the system is quote unquote fucked and messed up and stuff, what are you doing in your personal life to make sure eventually you then either have custody of these kids or become a better mom to be able to be around both of them? Because both of these kids came out of you.
Yes.
Whatever, not currently since you're not truly raising them, but what if they want to have a relationship like a relationship with their mom? Like what if they want to know who you are or based on whatever they're hearing from whatever raising them, they'll have what they're saying about you in their mind. Because most guys, I'll say most people look at their mom as like a god. They mom
Mhm.
could mommy could not do no wrong. So what are you doing to make sure you're eventually able to have a relationship with your kids, 7 year
Um,
old and a 3 year old?
well, for me, it's kind of too late for me to do anything.
I mean, you're not 18. You're not 18 or 21. Like their brain and body is still developing. You have like
Well, I understand that, but my 3-year-old has been adopted by um my baby dad's parents.
so what? You just giving up on your kids?
No, the reason why I said this is part of the reason why I said the system is fucked is because CBS came to the prison like about a year
Oh,
ago.
when you was in prison.
Yes,
Okay.
when I was in prison. Because I was in there for domestic relations and not paying child support.
Oh, your baby dad put you on child support.
No, the person who has my son, my 7-year-old, has me on child support, and the person who has my 3-year-old has me on child support.
So are you paying, or you're just not working on board child support?
I am not paying due to medical reasons.
And what is that?
I have a lot of mental health problems, and I have a lot of stomach problems, and I do have back problems.
Okay, so with these problems, you're not able to do any physical labor or sit in that office work, anything like that.
Well, it causes with my back. I can only sit for so long without it hurting. If it's not like a comfortable couch like this,
Okay.
or then I have to stand up, and then once I stand up for so long, I have to sit back down, and then I gotta stand back up after eventually. So it's just up down type thing, and
Oh,
that's
so you're unemployed, is what you're trying to like
yes.
say?
That's why I'm working on trying to get on SSI right now
But
due to my medical health.
but wouldn't that be some part of like the easy way out? Like, just hypothetical. What if your kids? Okay, 7 and 3. Okay, so your what if your kid? One of them is 24, the other one is like 21 or 20. What if they pose the question? I don't want no relationship with you because I believe you didn't fight hard enough. And if you try to say your medical reason or anxiety or whatever
Well,
like thing you try to describe, what would your answer be back to them?
the thing is, I am going back for my 7-year-old eventually.
And when do you have like a time frame on that?
No, I don't. It may take me a couple years, but I will be eventually fighting back for him when the time is right. When I have my SSI, when I have my own place, when I'm more stable, and when when I've done all my physical therapy for my back, and when I figured out my medications for my mental health and my daily pain and my stomach medications and what's the next step they're gonna do for me for my stomach, because with what I have could lead to surgery.
Okay, so it seems like it's just a lot of like what hope, like you're just hoping and praying that eventually you become right to do all these things you're trying to do.
Yes, I'm going off of faith and hope, and hopefully the Lord will hear my prayers, and like I'm a child of God. Of course, God's gonna help me through this.
Yeah,
But
that
I
is true.
think God is waiting very patiently to give me that opportunity because He doesn't see that I'm quite fit for it yet.
I don't understand that. The only thing I want to chime in for that is I believe what you're saying is true. Don't faith, praying, but God also says prayer, prayer. I think it's faith without action or pray without action is dead. So like if all you're doing is praying and you're not doing anything forward to doing this, it's almost like you're trying to give yourself a pass or an excuse of why certain things is not happening. I won't say that you're just lazy, but I will say, depending on how urgent you believe these things are, later down the timeline, you can end up destroying your relationship with this 7-year-old and this 3-year-old.
Wait, so do you not think that her pursuing financial aid through disability is her making action? Because she does gotta make action to do though. She gotta sign up for programs. She gotta wait for communication back. She gotta argue her case. She gotta go to the doctor. Those are all actions.
Yeah.
So I would say necessarily if she's genuinely disabled, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know you. But if you are genuinely disabled, you're making the proper actions to actually get that support, and maybe that's the support God is offering her. I get what you're saying, where you think she should make more of an effort, but I would say personally, I believe if she's genuinely disabled, she's making the proper steps to get the support she deserves, because America is a country that sort of supports their disabled.
Like,
so I mean, if she's trying to get that support,
I've heard from so
those are
many
actions.
people, why aren't you already on SSI due to my health problems from
Well,
my,
SSI is they're kind of dicks.
I don't know, I've been denied 3 times already.
My only thing with it, like I'm not trying to like rain on your parade or anything. I just feel like if someone's a mother or a father, depending on their urgency to make things happen, that can determine how serious they are with parenting. I feel like if you're able to walk, talk, move your hands, do a lot of things, you are serious. You're gonna allow your body to go through a certain amount of trauma before you're, instead of like constantly being to make excuses. I'm guessing maybe if you work too much, maybe your back will go out and you become paralyzed. Maybe I can like somewhat give you that, but then like, are you actively going on do your daily life, applying for jobs to make sure you're doing it, or are you strictly just waiting for these SSI checks to go through? Because if the system is fucked and you truly believe that, you're trying to go through that same system that's fucking you over.
But I get what you're saying, where you're basically saying she's not working hard enough, but wouldn't you also say that if she breaks herself in the process of trying to reach this unpromised, unguaranteed lifestyle that you're trying to have her shoot for, wouldn't you say that her breaking herself to get to that point will put her in a position where she wouldn't be able to take care of her kids in the first place? I mean, if she has a broken back, I mean, how much parenting can you do if you can't even like walk? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it really, I feel like it really just depends on your mentality and how hard you want to work. I know, like, I shouldn't compare you to an athlete, but there's like a lot of human that been through a lot of things and is still able to make things happen. And I feel like we have to like get down to the root of all these things that's quote unquote happening inside of your body and doing it, because if all these things are happening, you need to figure out, okay, then like, what can I stop doing to prevent these things from happening? Because if you're having all these problems, then I'm not sure if smoking, drinking, or even doing pretty much anything like should be going on if your kids and stuff is your thing. Because you also was mentioning that he was talking to a man that's in Texas. So like, if you're talking to any of these men, like you were saying earlier, if you're not going to use any of these men, what is the point of even speaking of them? Like, I still believe people really shouldn't even be dating if they're broke or homeless or X, Y, and Z. Like, all this stuff is like nice. I'm not trying to like shit on your life or anything like that. But I'll say if you stay the way you are as far as this, what can end up happening, your kids are gonna resent you and hate you because they're gonna feel like you didn't work hard enough. I'll say me personally, my mom was somebody that was heavily on drugs. And even though I know the truth and there were certain things that were stopping her from being able to do X, Y, and Z, there's always gonna be a feeling of me that just feels like you could have stopped doing this and maybe that would have stopped you. But like they say about excuses, like they say about assholes, everyone has them. So like with these excuses that a lot of people like to make, I feel like you're just making these excuses so you can have a reason and you can have a nice story to let people know that I couldn't do this because of this, I couldn't do this because of that. So I'll say, man, it probably really just depends on like how bad you want it. Because if you went from homeless and you went here and then you was able to do this, so that means some transition was able to happen to stop you, or help you change from being this to that?
Well, I'm working on something right now, which I can't really mention
Okay.
because of it being what it is.
Okay.
With I can maybe say its initials.
No, you're fine. If it's something incriminating or to get you in trouble or that you just don't feel is appropriate, you don't need to go into detail.
Yeah, you don't need
All I'm gonna say is it's a special type of shelter
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
that I just got into
Okay.
due to what I went through with the ex.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did work so hard to get into the shelter. I busted my butt calling and calling and trying to find everybody. Even told my counselor. My counselor helped me. 211 wouldn't help me. Uh, the shelters in Williamsport wouldn't help me because of my background and me being a felon and what my charges are. And the only shelter I could get in there is a YWCA, and they have a really long waiting list, and they never have beds. So I had to figure out how to sneakily talk to somebody behind her back without her knowing to get into the shelter that I'm in now.
That's good. So how do you feel about women with kids and a single man dating? Like, how positive or what you think a man without kids dating somebody with kids?
Damn, Chad, you had to put me on the spot. You knew my answer wasn't going to be positive. I mean, I went on that whole spiel about good men. It's okay to pick a woman with a couple kids as long as it's not outrageous. But I'd be hypocritical if I'd say I'd recommend that. I mean, me personally, I'm very hard, so I recommend you don't date a woman with any bodies. I feel like once a woman gets one body, she's already been used up. Her soul already been consumed by another man. And she already is coming to you with a certain set of expectations or a certain set of insecurities, baggage that you necessarily aren't equipped with dealing with. So I'd say if you're a single man, strive for the best, especially if you're good looking and women are attracted to you. Strive for the best. Try to get that virgin. If you are in a position where you gotta sell, pick a single mom, give her a good life. But yeah, I'd say my primary recommendation would be just don't date single moms. Don't date single moms if you're in a good position. I mean, it's not your responsibility to fix the mistakes she made in her life by dating someone that necessarily wasn't going to stay there for the long term. So don't take on that responsibility. There's no reason for you to. And even if, let's say, virgin is too high of a goal for you to reach, there's plenty of women out there that aren't virgins that don't have kids. But that's why I say it's kind of hypocritical of me, because I recommend that you should treat a single mom well because I was raised by a single mom. But if you got all your shit together, I would not recommend you date a single mom. I mean, sure, she could be a very wonderful person, but at the end of the day, you're taking on a lot of her mistakes and baggage that you weren't responsible for. And that's a task that is only able to be pursued by a certain class of men. That's why most men that become stepdads do it wrong.
Okay. So, since both you guys have kids, do you believe that 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 stepdads are men that women wouldn't pick if they didn't have kids?
No,
Why?
because what if the man has kids himself?
No, I'm saying like if he doesn't have kids at all, or okay, if he does have kids, he might be with someone with kids due to him having kids, so he might be able to understand. But I'm saying a man that doesn't have kids and he wants to be with this woman with kids, do you think that's the smartest thing that he can do?
Well, that is also that man's decision.
What do you think?
Um,
No, because I feel as though what he said, they're not really ready for everything that is going to come with that, especially if she is involving you in their lives and she's expecting you to show up in certain ways that you probably haven't had to before. She's expecting you to tend to the kids like she would want you to.
Is it wrong for a woman to expect that things from a man?
No, I don't think it's wrong for. I don't think it's wrong at all because at the end of the day, you're looking for someone. I wouldn't say that would replace the father, but would be just as well able to take care of your children as the dad is. So if you got a dad that's not able to take care of your kids, you might as well do that shit yourself. Cut him out the picture.
Okay. So then, like, how smart is it for a man to say, okay, I'm gonna get the? Is it more smart for a man to go after a woman with kids or a woman without kids, and why?
I would say without because you can actually start somewhere fresh and um without her prior stresses and prior traumas and dumpage if she's not completely healed from that. But the same also goes with the man. Is he healed from his trauma, prior dumpage, his insecurities, her not answering the phone, she could be taking care of the kids, like
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I completely agree with what she's saying. Like it's not a bad thing. It's just you're not equipped. Like I feel like when you have your first kid, that teaches you all the things you need to know about parenting.
yeah.
So if you have no kids, not only do you have an uphill battle, but you're learning how to take care of kids in an unconventional way. So you really gotta be a special type of man to be able to do that. So I completely agree with her. Like, yeah, like it's not the fact that a man shouldn't do it. It's just the fact that unfortunately, until a man has their first kid, they're really not equipped to be a father. They don't know how to. So unless it's a baby, I'd say the best case scenario is if if the person you're going with has a toddler or an infant, because you're starting at the beginning. But if you're not starting at the beginning and you're going in and the kid's like 7, 10, 15, it's an uphill battle. And then you also got to take in consideration the kid's feelings as well, because they might not even want you there. The mom might want you there, but the kid might be like, well, I really just want my mom and dad to get back together. But they don't understand why their mom and dad can't get back together. They just want the ideal situation in which their mom and dad is together. So you also got to deal with that too. You gotta, when you're trying to be a stepdad, you gotta tear down the walls of the mom, because she's been hurt before and she's been done wrong before. So you gotta tear those walls down first and teach her that there's still good men out there that can treat her right. And then you gotta tear the kid's walls down as well and let him know that yeah, your dad's not here, but I'm willing to be here in a capacity that he was never willing to be in the first place. And you gotta make sure the kid understands you're not there to replace their dad. You're there as a tool, an addition, a benefit, something better. You know what I'm saying? Like now you got two dads, and this dad can provide you this, and this dad can provide you that. Like it's a good situation. It's not a bad situation. And that's the only way it works. Both dads gotta be friends. That's the only way it works.
Well, actually, what if said child was made unwillingly?
Like from rape,
Yes.
I would say that child has a very hard life ahead of them. A very hard life ahead of them, because I believe all children deserve to have both parents. But in that situation, not only do you not have both parents, but now as a child, at some point it got to be explained to you why you don't have both parents, and it got to be explained to you honestly. Like, listen, your dad wasn't the best person, and that's just a really hard thing to tackle. I would say I have no solutions for that scenario. That's one scenario I would say I have no advice for. It's a very fucked up scenario. I can't even give any advice on it, because at the end of the day, yeah, whether you tell your kid the truth or lie to him, like I know I said just tell your kid the truth, but I believe the truth sets you free. But I never been in that circumstance. I don't even know how much detriment
Also,
to the
at
child
the time, the truth could traumatize.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how much that truth could traumatize that child, so I just wouldn't have any advice on that topic. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
I mean, I've seen different movies. I can't think of the name of the movie right now. I've seen movies that like some way like there are times where like the woman would try to build some relationship with the person that essayed her, whether she's visiting the prison, and I don't recommend like trying to be with like people that's like that because it is real hard because there's a lot of accepting and walls, traumas. Like dealing with anyone that's traumatic that has a traumatic life is hard to like to deal with them. So I'll just say you have to have patience and either wait till your kid gets old enough to understand what's happening and then go from there. But what I wanted to also ask is if you believe a lot of those things that you were saying, are you like somewhat saying that or recommending that men shouldn't try to date you since there's so much stuff they gotta like end up doing, or is it like a situation where both of you guys have to understand the assignment, such as you healing from whatever you gotta heal from and him just knowing and being ready for the stuff he has to put up with?
Until I would say I would let him meet my kids, I don't think I would want to bring their situations to him because honestly, it's not his business. It's between me and their dad. So, no. I mean, at the moment, I would say no because I'm not trying to date or anything, but it depends on the person, I guess. Going back to your thing with the grade, if you love your kid unconditionally, and like you said, when they get older, explain it to them. But just try to be there for them as much as you can, plus more. And it's not going to be the perfect situation, but it'll definitely be better than nothing.
Okay. And then another question like I just had is so when it I'm guessing everybody just feels like as long as the person healed, he should be ready for that relationship like happening. So then, how important is a man's respect in a relationship? Like, do you guys know any ways, or if you guys have been in a relationship, what ways were you showing respect towards your man or making your man feel more of a man?
Um, I would say I would normally get dinner ready and have something ready for him to eat because by the time he gets home, it's like 11 o'clock at night. We're asleep in bed. Nobody wants to make food for themselves late at night or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I would make sure the kids ain't waking them up, take them out the room, maybe take them for a walk or something. Let him chill, play a game, try not to bother him, sleep. Just trying to let him get his personal time.
Okay. Wait, how does the respect in your relationship look like? How do you show ways that you can respect your man or make him feel more of a man?
Well, since our relationship is fresh, like we just put a label on it,
Okay.
and like um me and him are trying to talk about what boundaries would be appropriate boundaries to set since me and him are both long distance. So the boundaries would look different compared to me being with him in person.
Yeah.
So, like, we're working on that, and he's working on his end on saving up money for uh for him to move.
Yeah.
Because he wants to move out of Texas, and I want to move out of Pennsylvania at some point.
Yeah. Where y'all moving to?
We have not quite decided yet. I told him I want to be by a beach.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds nice. I mean,
But that's all something that will happen in the far future.
yeah.
But like until he's able to move up here, we can't really make short term goals because I don't know when he's coming up here yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta get to know each other in person.
Yeah, so that's like way future that we'd move in, but he comes up here and moves up here to Pennsylvania, and we get to hang out up here in Pennsylvania for a while, and then see how we fit together after a while of hanging out together in an apartment, and then move out of the state.
Yeah.
It would be more appropriate for my relationship now.
Yeah.
And that's how me and him are respecting each other.
Okay. What about you? But instead of a man, I'm gonna go with a woman. Like, what? How do you show respect in a relationship towards your woman or the woman you're with?
Well, I answer both parts of the question. I believe that respect is one of the most important things in a relationship a woman should strive towards. Yeah, for men, it's respect. For women, it's having the ability to sit there through her emotional turmoil with understanding perspective. Because a lot of men, they'll jump right to the solution, but sometimes women just want to talk about the problem a little bit. You know what I'm saying? At least in my experience. I mean, like, I'll offer my girl a solution, but sometimes she just wanted to talk about the problem a little bit before I offered her the solution. So I learned to be patient and let her get her 2 cents out, let her rant, let her decompress, and then I can come back and be like, okay, babe, I understand how that made you feel. This is the solution I think we should strive towards. As for women, what was your question about the woman again?
Um, how can a woman show man respect in a relationship?
I feel like a woman shows man respect in a relationship is pretty much exactly what she said. I mean, come home, make sure there's dinner ready. Bless you.
Thank you.
Make sure there's dinner ready. Maybe give him a back rub. You know, make him feel real good. You know, allow him to decompress after fighting the work. I'd say that's the best way a woman can show respect towards a man. Like, the number one thing I want when I come home from a long day of work is a hot plate and just spending time with the person that allows me to be vulnerable and not manly all the time.
Okay. So, since we're gonna conclude here, I just have probably like just two questions. With everyone knowing, with everyone knowing the right things or what the proper thing to do in dating, why do people always mess up or pick the wrong guy?
Because I feel as though a lot of people promise certain things that they can't uphold for so long after being in the relationship for so long. Because it's like a facade. So I feel like when the facade is over, it's like, oh, you weren't who I thought you were, or you're not making these promises that you said you would.
Okay, so with that being said, when you are talking to a guy or before you get into a relationship, do you have a goal in mind? Like whether it's marriage or is there any amount of foundation that's set so there's no facade or a guy playing the long game until we get sex? Like how honest are you when you first start talking to a man?
I like to be very straightforward about my intentions and what's going on, and I expect the same, whether that's always the truth or not. But me myself, I like to put it plain and simple.
Okay. So how do you feel about marriage?
Um,
Do you think it's something that can happen, or is it a situation where a lot of people just or men don't want to get married and women want to get married, but they only want to get married for the things that come with it, the ring and the wedding.
I think marriage is all a part of the American dream. Um, I don't think there will ever actually be a perfect wedding, and I think marriage is more so spiritual. I don't think the government really needs to be involved in all of that, and you don't need papers to be married. You can be married without all of that, have a marriage and all that without everything being involved. But
Do you see yourself getting married?
I don't.
Why is that?
Because again, I don't really believe in such. So,
do you think a lot of people develop that mind because they think they messed up so much that they can't get married, or do you think it's a situation where they're just making up reasons for marriage not being foreseeable in their life?
I don't really know for other people. I know for me personally, I feel as though after spending such a long time with somebody, I no longer want to spend that much time with them anymore. And that like sort of goes for everybody. I need time to miss people. And if I don't get that time, then it's just like I'm kind of irritated by your presence. And it's not like because you're a bad person. It's just that because it's us all the time.
Do you think you're like that because you never truly liked the person that you was with? Or do you think if you've liked people, they still annoy the fuck out of you that you guys didn't need to be around each other all the time?
I wouldn't say like annoyed the fuck out of me, like I hate them type shit, but like I just need my space. Whether that's for like a few hours or something. I just don't like to constantly be around somebody or have somebody in my face or
And what about you? With all the ways that you know that relationships couldn't work, why do you think most relationships end up failing? Because if everybody, it always seems like everybody has the answer for literally everything. Like it's never them. They're never. It's never their fault. It's the man. If women have
To be
access to all these
honest,
things,
I think it's part of the both parties' fault.
okay. So what you think is like a 50-50? Like both people are just wrong,
No,
walking wrong.
um, I believe that sometimes the men or the women will change on each other.
Okay. Do you think it's a situation where like they're like both people aren't being honest with each other?
Yes, at some point.
So do you lie in your relationship to the person? Like when you're first meeting this guy, is it like a goal or like a plan of how this relationship is gonna be?
No, there's not. There is no set plan right now.
But don't you think
We are
thinking it
working towards our goal. The
like what, like
goal.
marriage?
Well, we haven't. That's so far from the picture.
Okay. So then what
I
about
believe somebody should move in with somebody and learn and either learn to live with them or see if they can live with that person before they marry them.
okay.
I've been engaged so many times that I'm not going to get married
Well,
until I live with that person for so long, like a year, to marry them because, people change within 6 months in a relationship.
yeah. Okay, so how many times have you been engaged?
A lot. I got my first engagement was when I was 17.
Okay, so if you've been engaged all these many times, do you know like the whole idea of like the purpose of the engagement? Because normally when people get engaged, they should at least have some kind of plan before they get married. So like, did any of these guys say it, or was it just I'm gonna marry you one day?
Um, we some of them we planned on getting married, but either
No, like, did you guys have a date set? Not one of those where I'm gonna marry you and there's no date being told.
um I've not necessarily had a date. I've had a season, but no date.
Like what they said, we're gonna get married next spring.
No, I said, you know what, I want to get married in the winter, December.
And what did he say about it?
I don't care. Do what you want.
How can you do what he wants? He's marrying you. You're not. Did he get on one knee or
Yeah,
okay? So then
but the because I come up with certain visions. I'm a very visual person, so I can come up and vision something like between from what he likes or from what I like, and I envision something and put it together in my own mind, and then I explain that vision. And if he likes it or not, then that vision can be changed.
okay. So so then if you're not even planning it or you're not trying to see where this relationship is going, do you think you play some part of this relationship ending? Because if there's no direction on where you guys are going, that means you guys can go anywhere. You guys both separate.
Well, our plan is for him to move down here so that me and him could spend time with each other before I decide to move in with him.
Okay. So are you trying to say that it's better to wing things than having a set goal? Because if his plan
Um,
is to move out here, you guys are trying to figure out when exactly he's gonna move out here. When you guys are gonna either plan on getting married,
mhm.
X, Y, and Z.
Well, marriage is like not in the picture yet.
Okay.
Like I said, I want to move in with him for a little bit before we decide to get married. And marriage is something that you're not supposed to think of right away in a relationship.
Okay. So marriage isn't.
Because you don't just walk up to somebody and be like, oh, hey, I want to marry you. It's, oh, hey, let me be in a relationship with you. Not, hey, let me marry you. The person will just turn around and run away. Like that.
That can be true. So, um, how fast would you give your body to this particular man then? Him knowing you 7 months, are you guys gonna have sex the moment you guys meet each other?
I'm not quite sure. That's something me and him are talking about
Okay.
to see, like, what would be our comfort zone of first seeing each other. Because me and him talking so long, he knows so much about me, and I know so much about him. So it's all based on what me and him would be comfortable at, and if our anxiety is up or we just not in the mood or whatever, then so be it. He's not that type of person who needs sex all like that.
Okay. So how do you feel about it? When everyone always knows the answers and everybody knows what to do for a relationship, why do most relationships fail?
I think most relationships fail because most people don't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, you can say this is the proper way to date, this is the proper way to date, this is the proper way to date, but in reality, there's no proper way to date. So it's a question you can't even answer because people are too different to begin with. How I'm gonna go about dating this person is completely different about how I'm gonna go about dating that person. So it's all about finding the person that you click with the most so that you can reach the best level of satisfaction. So yeah, I'd say people just don't know what the fuck it takes to go to dating because they think that there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer. You think there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer, you're already addressing the situation from the wrong perspective because there is no right answer. It's subjective. It's not objective.
So basically, relationships. The only people that should focus on a relationship is the people that's in them.
Exactly. You shouldn't date based off of what you see on the internet, based off of what you think is an ideal relationship. You should be dating based off of what you personally think is the ideal relationship. What is ideal for you? And if you don't know the answer to that question yet, you shouldn't be dating in the first place.
Do you believe that you have the answer to that question?
I have the answer for myself, yes.
And what is that? What is your dating whoever the person you're with is like?
Dating someone like me and me dating someone looks like on my end, taking on most of the responsibilities, striving towards a future where she has little to no responsibilities unless she decides to. Dating on her end, if she's trying to date someone like me, she gotta be very submissive, very obedient. She gotta be able to fall into the player two position. I'll let her know if that ravine is short enough to jump across. Okay. She shouldn't just jump because she thinks it's short enough to jump across.
We ain't an animal.
I have a question.
I am a human. Humans are
animals.
animals.
As far as this whole obedient thing,
yeah.
What does that consist of? Like, what is her being disobedient, and does she get punished for being disobedient?
So disobedience in my relationship. Obedience. Let me start with obedience. Obedience in my relationship looks like this: you come to me saying you think it should be this way. I consider your input and analyze it, and then I tell you if that's the proper way to address that situation. That's what obedience looks like. She gets a say because she's vice president, but I always got the option to veto it if I have more knowledge than she does on that circumstance. But there's plenty of situations where my girl had more knowledge than me, and I went with her idea. I like to question my girl on a lot of things. I like to get her input. But if it's a situation I feel I have more knowledge on that I lived through already, that I already know is not going to reach a satisfactory location, then I'm a veto it. And that's why I date virgins. I date inexperienced women for a purpose because I like leading the relationship. I'd be like, okay, I've been through these experiences, you haven't. This is how it's going to turn out. There has been some circumstances where she had to learn the hard way, meaning that we went through that circumstance her way, and it didn't turn out to the resolution she wanted. But eventually, when you're dating an inexperienced woman and they see that their solutions didn't necessarily solve the problems that they had no experience in, they start taking your advice on stuff you have experience in and expecting you to take advice on stuff they have experience in. Now, disobedience you're asking about punishment. The only punishment of disobeying me is me leaving. There's no like supreme. I'm not going to beat you. I'm not going to cheat on you because I think there's a moral disconnect in cheating. I don't believe in cheating. I'm gonna leave because you're not making me happy. I mean, that's what dating's all about. Finding the person that makes you happy and allowing the person that doesn't make you happy to leave so that they can find the person that makes them happy. If you're in a circumstance where you have to step out of your relationship to get satisfaction, then you're not in a satisfactory relationship. That's why I don't believe in cheating. If I gotta go fuck another girl, you're not providing enough sexually. Period. That's it. That's the basic fact of the circumstance. There's no other. When you boil it down to its bare bones, you're not hot enough. You're not freaky enough. You're not something enough. You're not enough. I need more. That's all it boils down to. Okay. You're failing me as a woman. So that's how I look at those type of circumstances. Like, the only punishment to disobeying me is me leaving. I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm not going to beat you. I'm not going to abuse you. I'm not going to manipulate you into believing what I believe. There's been circumstances where I told my girl, listen, you're very happy with me. This isn't working out for us. If it doesn't work out for us to the point where it's a deal breaker, leave and find someone that makes you happy. I've said that to my girl. Because at the end of the day, if I truly love, admire, and respect this person, I want what makes them most happy. Period. I don't care if I'm not contingent to the circumstance that makes her the most happy. I just want to see her happy because I love her. Like, even my exes, every ex I love, I hope they found happiness. Because at the end of the day, I love that person. And if I love that person, I want them to be happy. I'm not going to hate that person. Now, if I secretly didn't like that person, then I want the worst for him. But if I loved that person and genuinely was happy with that person, and I just couldn't provide them the things that they wanted, I want them to find what they wanted in the world, just like I want the same for myself. I'm a religious person too, so I believe in going that extra mile for your neighbor. And I would look at your girlfriend as your neighbor, and she's part of humanity. There's God above us, and there's humanity. You should want the best for your fellow humans. Period.
Okay, last question I have. So, are you trying to like imply that you like to be with virgins so you can manipulate and control them?
No, I'm just saying that I get with inexperienced women because I know I have a deep understanding of how I go about dating. If I get with a woman with experience, which I have attempted, there's all sorts of problems because she has experiences, I have experiences. Maybe I solved the experience in a certain way that worked for me, and maybe she solved the experience in a certain way that worked for her. We're going to spend days arguing about whose solution came to the better success rate, came to the better satisfaction. She's going to say, well, I did it this way, and it worked. And I'm going to be like, I did it this way, and it worked. And she's going to be like, well, my way's better. And I'm going to be like, well, my way's better.
Can't you guys just do both
by
ways?
the end of the day,
if you do both ways, what happens is this: the other party ends up secretly resenting you for not taking care. And that's why most relationships end. You think that everything was cool, we got past the situation, the problem's gone, and then 7 months down the line, they look you in the eye and they be like, you know what? Why did you handle it that way? Da 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 da. Now you're getting yelled at for something that happened 7 months ago. Because y'all just couldn't come to a satisfactory agreement at that time. Now, I would say I date inexperienced women because that's where I get the most success. I'm not saying dating inexperienced women is going to give every man success. Some men like experience. Me personally, I like leading a very tight ship. And when I lead a very tight ship, the women that fit into my vice captain role of S are women that don't really have that much experience. And I have good intentions. There's a lot of guys out there that act like me that don't have good intentions. I genuinely have good intentions for this individual. So I'd say that's one of the primary dangers for inexperienced women, because there's a lot of men out there that don't have your best intentions in mind. But I genuinely want the best for my girlfriend, and I genuinely want the best for all my exes. So at the end of the day, I'm not trying to steer you wrong. I'm just trying to steer you in the best direction that I know.
Okay. So with that being said, we're about to end it. Do you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah, but got a comment for him.
Not yet. Let's go.
At the end of the day, what does it matter how somebody coped? It's their coping skill.
It matters a lot because at the end of the day, the way you cope could negatively impact your relationship. So, like, let's say you cope in a way that I find very annoying or very stupid, or I feel like it's a complete waste of time. That's where your coping could come into contention. And a lot of the times people cope in very bad ways because that's the only way humans know how to cope.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about the bad ways. I'm talking about the positive ways of coping. Like,
I would say there's no positive ways to cope.
Yeah.
The most positive direction is to figure out the best solution to your problem and work towards that solution. There's no coping mechanism. There's no thing that you can do in the meantime until you're ready to get to the best solution. No, sit down, talk with yourself, and figure out the best solution so you can get to that solution as fast as possible and you're not wasting all this time. We're only on this planet for 80 years if we're lucky. If we're lucky. So you got to get that problem out the way so you can get some happiness in your life.
But what if, let's say, you found your solution, and either way, like dealing with SSI takes time. Before you get there, you're sitting there meditating. Would you say that's a good way of coping until you get to where you are, if that's making you happy in the meantime?
Yeah. I mean, if you absolutely have to cope, I would agree with you. Meditation is a good coping mechanism because you're talking with yourself and trying to figure out that solution. Because you're truthful. It takes people different amount of times to reach that solution. Some people need to talk with themselves for longer. Me, it's just a one night. For other people, it may be multiple nights. You know what I'm saying? To actually understand what they're going through. And the only reason I say it's one night for me is I'm a very unique individual. Like, I don't believe in things that negatively affect me. So, like, I don't believe in depression, so I never get depressed. I don't believe in anxiety, so I never get anxious. So it's a very unique place you gotta put yourself in to solve problems at its fastest rate. And the place that I'm talking about is what the Buddhists try to strive for. Nirvana. I'm not at Nirvana because I still got a lot of steps to go, but I'm striving towards Nirvana where I can let the things that negatively affect me go.
Yeah. I was just chiming a little bit. Yeah, like what you said, I heavily believe that like only things that can have power over you are things you believe in and things you like feel are true. So if all that stuff happening, like you're always trying to find some excuse to avoid from being able to do something, like you always have a solution to have an excuse. And when that happens, it just stops you from being able to finish any of the problems you're dealing with, issues, and you'll always be stuck. Do you guys have any other questions?
no.
Okay, that concludes the podcast, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Peace!